Researchers say, study shows. Yeah, researchers aren't the same ones that in the UK said you're going to have tens of millions of deaths unless you go into the Chinese style lockdowns, unless you send the cops and keep people safe in their own homes. Interesting how other countries didn't do that and they didn't have tens of millions of deaths. Researchers. I love researchers. It's like God has decreed. Do not question it, citizen, or else you doubt the science. But I'll tell you what's happening. And the reason that I also bring the pandemic is that because of the fear mongering, a lot of people were sent home, right, to stay safe. And they realized that, oh, well, we can actually do our work from home. We don't need to go to the office anymore. And this caused two major problems. Number one, middle management has a very difficult time to explain why they need a job because you can't really micromanage and spy on your employee if he works from home. So middle management is very scared, very terrified by this. But the second reason is that the office spaces are having an issue, right? So the government is worried that the office space industry is collapsing because if companies do not need the office space, then their values goes down dramatically. So the government, at least in the United States and in certain places, is actually giving tax cuts to companies and it's incentivizing companies in order to get people back to the office. Google is such a company which is having problems getting back its employees to the office after, scaring them with the coof. And of course, the employees can just now bullshit and be like, oh, well, we're afraid for our safety. We sit home. It's safe. But now researchers have come to help and say that this is how the model shows people are going to look like by 2100. Right. You can tell that it's a little bit of propaganda due to the fact that they chose the ugliest face possible. And they also go with like an elderly woman with no makeup in order to show just how dangerous it is. And I don't even need to see this. Just show me like a morbidly obese American and I can see how humans are today. Like if you want to scare me about how the human body can be made to look into something unappealing, you don't even need to go to the year 2100, right? Show me the person that eats a lot of fast food and has a lot of sugary drinks, and then I can be afraid of what humanity is capable of producing today. I mean, heaven forbid, we actually look at video games and we see how the female characters look in those video games. I mean, Jesus Christ. Show me the modern version of female characters in video games, yeah. The ones made for a modern audience. But if we were to go by that, I would understand that the standards of beauty have dramatically changed in our year. But yeah, so apparently many of us working from home following the COVID pandemic where remotely working was mandatory for millions of non-key workers. And they had this model of Anna, and apparently she has red swollen eyes. She's hunched back. She's got like claw hands. She's like the Wicked Witch. And she's got swollen limbs. And I would like to point out that throughout the history of humanity, there have been much more labor-intensive jobs and hazardous work than working from home at a computer. For example, going into the mine. Okay, like through generations, there were entire mining towns where people descended upon the mines and I think their eyesight was affected far worse than those that are sitting in front of a PC. I think their hands may have been affected even worse than just typing at a laptop, right? And yet we do not have human beings nowadays that look like this. Why is that? Well, it's simple. It's because the deformities that happened are not happening because of genetic reasons. So if they're not happening because of genetic reasons, you cannot pass along those genes, researchers. Like, do you know this? Do you understand? Right? It's a very bizarre concept. I do not think that these researchers in the UK understand how evolution works. The way it would work is like if you have people born with claw hands for genetic reasons and they get to have offsprings, then at one point the chance is that their offspring will also get that trait. However, if let's say a person goes through a car crash and they lose one leg, and then they have a child, there is absolutely no reason to believe that the newborn child is going to be born without one leg just because his father doesn't have one leg. Like that, does this make any sense to you guys? Apparently, I don't think it makes sense to the researchers. I suppose maybe the media isn't interpreting properly, right? So you have like this clickbait title, like Hunchback Model shows what remote workers will look by 2100, right? So they're basically trying to say that if you work from home your entire life, you're going to look like this. So they're not understanding what the research actually talks about, which is a possibility. I mean, the mainstream media has on multiple occasions misquoted the scientists, their research, and their findings. But if that's the case, if you're just saying, okay, so you have a person that works at home nonstop, and by 2100 it will look like this. I mean, why even go to 2100? Like, surely you can find people who have worked their entire lives from home today, and we can see how they look like. And just because you're working from home doesn't mean that you don't get to go out and exercise. And I do not understand, like, why is it that if you're working from home is any different than if you're working from the office? Like, there are a lot of desk jobs where all you do is you sit all day with your eyes in front of a computer, and we already know the side effects of that. And of course, you know, the eyesight gets to be affected. Maybe you will have some rheumatic illness, but it's not guaranteed. I mean, there are people who have been at their computers their entire hands, and they do not have the claw hands. The hunchback, you know, that it can exist, but again, like, maybe the person goes to work and then they go to the gym. Swollen limbs, I mean, this is something that happens regardless if you work at the office or not. I mean, it's usually of a kidney condition or a heart condition, like it can be other issues. But yeah, no, so like, this is fear-mongering, is what it is. Right? Like, oh my god, look at these monstrosities. Oh, look how she's sitting in the bed. And yeah, why is she sitting in the bed? Like, just because you're working from home doesn't necessarily mean that you're sitting in the bed. You can sit at the desk, like most normal people do, right? Like, how many people sit in the bed with the coffee in the fucking bed so you can accidentally tip it over? It is, you know, in my opinion, just fear-mongering. That, like, they're desperately trying in order to get people to be afraid of working at the home, so that, you know, oh, well, you need to go to work to the office because it's healthy. Remember that if you like this video, then I also have a live stream channel, and there is a link for it in the description. You go down there, you click it, and it takes you to my live stream channel. And if for some mysterious reason you really enjoy what I do, well, you can support me by clicking the link to the Subscribestar account, where you will get the best buyer's remorse on the internet. There's no buyer's remorse that's better than the one that I'm giving you, just so you know. So just go down into the comment section, and there's a link there, and you can click. You can become a supporter of the channel. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.